So great to see you. We are live. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Welcome. I really appreciate your being here with me. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to help employees who are facing deportation. All right, we've got a lot of wonderful people who are employers who are concerned for their employees who are going through a tough legal process. And many of them call our office asking, hey, how can I help my team out? How can I help my people out? How can I help my employees out? And so if that's you, tune in, be here. As always, we'll do 30 minutes in English, and then we'll do 30 minutes in Spanish. Así que si usted habla español, por favor, venga con nosotros a las 2:30. And then right now we'll do it in English. And so thanks and welcome. So, the Empowered Immigrant Live, we're here, and we are here to train and teach and inspire and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration law and to make the most out of their lives. That is what it is all about. And today our theme is, how can we help an employee who's facing deportation? And thank you to everyone who has asked questions. We've got 30 minutes to discuss this topic in English, then we'll do the episode in Spanish, as I mentioned. But, about 10 minutes or so, I'll talk about the basics. I'll talk about, the theme, and then we'll open it up to some questions. And thank you to everyone who's asked their questions. If you are listening to me right now, and if you have a question, please type it in. Type it into the comments. Type it into the chat. We will address them. All right? I'll do everything that I can to address them. And so, all right, so we'll move. We'll move into our situation and into our theme for today. Here's the story. Every day, my office gets calls, all right? And often we get calls from employers who want to help their people. And it's awesome. I love it, all right? I love it. And it's important to know a few things, okay? Sometimes there's a potential conflict of interest. And if you're a savvy employer, you know this already. Our office does not represent businesses. All right, our office does not represent employers with their immigration needs. Our office represents immigrants. We represent and fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation. All right. Now, there are a lot of great employers out there, and they want to fight. They want to help their employees and their teams and their people. All right. But it's important to know that, sometimes from the employer's perspective, if the immigrant, if your team member, excuse me, sorry about that. If the team member was using a social that doesn't belong to him or her, all right? Or if the immigrant isn't actually legally employment authorized, sometimes it can create a potential conflict of interest because the employer, great, people are calling in. They want to speak to me immediately. Okay, great. So if the employer, needs to protect him or herself by complying with I-9 and sometimes E-Verify and stuff like that, sometimes the employer will want to get an immigration lawyer involved also. That is not what my firm does. And I just want to be really, really clear about that. In our firm, we fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation. And so anyway, I wanted to be super clear about that. The next thing, I want to talk about the basics and kind of how this all works. So first of all, we're not talking about employment-based immigration options. All right, there are H-1B visas. There are other employer-based visas. All right, that is not what my firm does. That's not what we're all about. It's not what our office is dedicated to fighting for. All right, we are here to fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation. So we're talking about how to win if you've been charged with deportability for whatever reason, if you've been charged with entering illegally or overstaying or violating the terms of your immigration status in some way. Got it? Okay, I think we've covered that. Second basic, when a person is facing deportation proceedings in immigration court, it is time to get a lawyer. All right, you, or if you're an employer or your employee, you don't want to go through this process alone. Don't go through it alone. All right. 3, you want to know your rights. All right. You've got the right to remain silent. If ICE shows up at your house, you have the right to remain silent. If ICE shows up at your work, it's the same. You've got the right to remain silent. Even if you're undocumented, even if you're not a citizen, you still have the right to remain silent. You still have the right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. All right, you have constitutional rights. It's important that you know them. And 4, you want to know your options. All right, get a full consultation. Meet with a lawyer to help determine what options are available to you. All right, and yeah, the big ones for immigrants who are facing removal, the big ones are asylum, cancellation of removal, adjustment of status, U visas, T visas, VAWA. Now, as of 60 days ago, prosecutorial discretion. And if nothing else works, voluntary departure. All right? But it's like you want to know and understand the basics of immigration law. You want to understand what your options are. And that's something that our firm is here for. All right? So if that's you, if you've got questions about that, then hey, pick up the phone, contact our office. We would love to do a consultation, and we would love to walk you through the process. Okay? So here we are. All right, here we are. That's it. That's all I want to say for today. We're going to go now into our questions. All right, and we've got lots of different questions. And so my first question comes from Anna. All right, and Anna, thank you so much. Anna, your question is, I have my own business cleaning houses. Can I use that to fix my own papers? All right, that's a great question, Anna. Thank you for asking that question. You know, we have a lot of clients who have their own companies. All right, and I love it. I love it. I want to support you in any way I can. All right. The answer to the question, though, is there's no way, typically, 99% of the time, there's no way to use your own business to apply for a visa or to apply for a green card if you entered the country without permission or if you've overstayed a visa. All right? However, if you've got your own company, right? If you've got your own company, then I would love, all right? I would love to add the fact that you've got your own business to your immigration case. Like if you're already applying for cancellation of removal, if you're already applying for adjustment of status, like I would love to highlight that fact. If you're applying for prosecutorial discretion, right? I would love to highlight that fact. We can use the fact that you've got your own company or you employ other people to show that you're an amazing contribution to our community, to our economy. You're not causing problems. In fact, you're doing nothing but good. All right? And so, Anna, you're doing a great job. Thank you for asking your question. Keep doing what you're doing. And what I would recommend for you is, hey, let's come in, let's do a consultation, let's see what we can do. We're not going to be able to use the business per se to get you immigration status, but there might be other options. So let's figure it out. And regardless of which option we go through, we'll definitely be highlighting the fact that you've got your own business because that's awesome. All right, Anna, thank you. The next question comes from Fred or from Frederico. All right. Fred, you say a question. I am a landscape contractor. All right. I've got my own business. I'm a landscape contractor and I am a member, and a member on my team is going through an immigration process. How can I help him? Fred, thank you. All right. Thank you for this question. That's awesome. All right. You've got your own business, it sounds like, as a landscape contractor. And so, thank you for what you do. So my first recommendation is let's get your team member into our office, have him contact our office. Let's do a consultation with him. Let's see what we can do. We've got to figure out what type of immigration process is he going through. All right. There's many different types of processes. Maybe it's an asylum process. Maybe, he's in immigration court. Maybe he's got temporary protected status or, there's lots of different potential processes that a person might go through. And so because of that, there's a lot of different ways and different strategies that we can use to help someone. And so the most important thing is let's get them good, competent, sound, intelligent legal advice so that we can help your team member the best that we can. So that's my best advice. Fred, thank you so much. And feel free to reach out, feel free to reach out, give us a call. All right. So the next question comes from Ethan. All right. Ethan asks question, what is happening with U visas? Okay, that's a great question, Ethan. Thank you for asking that question. The answer to that is maybe 3 weeks ago now, our Empowered Immigrant Live was on the U visa changes. So check that video out. But there is a process changing, all right? They call it the bona fide determination process. And it's starting, all right? And so if you have a U visa pending, and if that U visa was done correctly, you should be eligible to apply for a work permit in the upcoming months and years, depending on when your U visa was filed. And yeah, you have to wait for your biometrics to be complete, and you have to wait until after your case has been initially reviewed. But after that, as long as they find that it was a bona fide filing for a U visa, you should be eligible to get a work card. All right, so that's the new U visa process that was announced just like 60 days ago. Okay, so Ethan, thank you for that question. Check out those videos. I love it. Let's see. Okay, I've got to answer this one. So this question is from Samantha. Samantha's question is, what about the budget proposal? What about immigration reform? Okay, so this is not directly on the topic that I was planning on discussing today, but Samantha, thank you for asking this question, all right? Because there's news, all right? There's news, people. There's news and there's movement happening in Washington, D.C. And so, Samantha, thank you for your question. The truth is that, yes, just yesterday, the 11th of August, the Senate voted on the first step, all right, and decided to keep going forward with budget reconciliation, $3.5 trillion, economic stimulus stuff. And it includes a whole bunch of things about reinforcing the infrastructure of the country and changes to the tax program and things like that. And yes, everybody, it includes a statement about immigration. All right? It includes a statement about immigration. The statement says that the bill, as they write it, can include a path to permanent residency and citizenship for quote unquote certain qualified immigrants. All right? Now, what immigrants are they talking about? Well, it's not written in there, but what they're talking about are dreamers, like people who entered the United States as children. 2, they're talking about TPS holders. 3, they're talking about farm workers. And 4th, they're talking about essential workers. All right? So essential workers through the pandemic. And we can decide all of those, or we can define in more detail as the weeks come each of those categories and what it's going to mean, all right? So the next steps for that was just like, it was a successful step. The Senate voted on it, all right? And they've decided to move forward through this process. So the next step is for the committees to draft the full bill, and they're supposed to do that by September 15th, all right? And now the House of Representatives is currently on recess, and they'll be back in D.C. on August 23rd. And if we're going to pass this thing, it's got to all pass by September 30th, all right? Because that's when the fiscal year ends. And so right now it's August 12th. So we've got like 47 days, people. We've got like 47-ish days only to see if this thing is actually going to pass. And so stay tuned, all right? Stay tuned. Stay optimistic. Stay hopeful. Now, what are the chances that this thing actually works? Hey, maybe it's just a 10% chance, right? Maybe it's just a 10% chance. It's not going to be easy. It's an uphill climb, all right? But, man, it's the best chances we've had all year. It's the best chance that we've had in many years, all right? And so even if it's just a 10% chance, it's like, hey, let's hold on to it. Let's like blow air and energy into that thing. because, wow, it could actually change to some degree immigration law. All right, so that would be really exciting. We'll stay tuned. We'll stay hopeful about that. All right. Now, that's all of the questions that I had pre-submitted. So if you've got more questions, send them to me. I am seeing some here right now. So let's see. One says, can an immigrant travel? Let's see. This says RS Diary. RS Diary. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Your question is, can an immigrant travel internationally with a valid passport but no legal papers in the U.S.? Great question. All right, great question. Thank you for answering that. The quick and dirty answer to that question is yes, they can travel internationally. The question isn't can they travel internationally? The question is, can they come back? And here's the truth. If they don't have legal papers here in the U.S., then they won't have a valid entry permit to get back into the U.S. So yeah, you can leave the U.S. all you want. In fact, the U.S. Border Patrol, in the airports, whatever, they actually do not restrict who leaves the U.S. Anybody can travel outside the U.S. The challenge will be getting you back in. And unless we can get your papers in order first, it's like the best advice is to not leave the U.S. because if you left the U.S., you might even trigger an inadmissibility bar. You know, you can look up the 3-year bar or the 10-year bar, right? And so you don't want to do that. Get good advice before you do it if your plan is to ever come back, all right? But anyway, that's the way that works. So RS Diary, I hope I got your name right, and thank you so much for your question. All right, the next, it looks more like a comment. No, this is from Golden Gate, all right? Golden Gate, it says, at Landerholm Immigration, great live stream attorney, thank you. What can a Brazilian migrant do who is illegal but has a brother here who's a U.S. citizen and he wants to stay? All right, hey, Golden Gate, thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. That's not an easy, there's no easy solution there, all right? U.S. citizens have the right to petition for siblings, for brothers and sisters. But those petitions take like a minimum of 14 years, okay? And if somebody is undocumented right now, they might not even be able to use that petition, okay? And so it's not like there's no automatic easy way to fix that issue. And so my best advice is, hey, let's get the Brazilian potential client in, let's do a consultation, and let's maybe see if there's some other option aside from using that person's brother, okay? And yeah, worst case scenario, we can file a petition from the brother. The person might need to leave the U.S. for a period of time and then eventually be able to use it. Hopefully that helps. All right, the next question comes from Star, it looks like. Star, thank you for your question. Star, you say, I was married to a permanent resident and I got my green card based on VAWA. And I would like to know if I can apply for my citizenship within 3 years. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. So, Star, that's an interesting question. I would actually want to research that question. One issue is, so you were married to a permanent resident. Normally, the 3-year rule is for people who are, quote unquote, living in marital union with a U.S. citizen. All right? And so I would want to research that before giving you good advice. And the issue also is, are you still married to that person? When you get a green card based on VAWA, it's like you've been the victim of some kind of abuse or extreme cruelty, right? And so, anyway, I don't want to give you a straight up yes or no. I would encourage you to first come in. Let's do a consultation. Let's look at it in depth, because the straight answer is maybe. All right. Yes, there is a 3-year exception to the 5-year citizenship. Kind of normally when you have a green card, you have to be a green card holder for 5 years before applying for citizenship. But yes, there are some exceptions, all right? And yes, it is possible that even through VAWA, you can get it under the 3-year rule. But Star, I would really recommend, let's get you in, let's do a consultation. Feel free to call our number. We'd love to meet with you, and we can give you good advice on that point. No problem, all right? Now, my next question, and I think this will be my last one for today, is from Golden Gate also, and it says, at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, will the Farm Workers Act cover Mexican migrant workers who have been here over 5 years automatically to give legal status, and will it cover their families? Thank you. The Farm Workers Act. You know, I am not 100% sure which act you are talking about, all right? And so thank you for asking the question, and maybe I will need to research it and get you the answer to that one either on our next Empowered Immigrant Live, or I'll need to reach out to you individually and just give you the answer to it, all right? Do me a favor. If you're on YouTube and if you're on Facebook and if you want to know an answer to that question, give me your name. Give me your name and your email address in the chat, and I will research that issue and see if it will actually, get people legal status, and will it cover their families. I'll research that question. I'll answer it either through video live next time, or I'll send emails out to everybody who asks and who wants to know the answer to that. All right. Are there any other questions? Because if not, I think I'm done, and I can get ready for this in Spanish. But if there are any questions, hey, going once, going twice, ask them, and I'd love to answer them. And if there's not, hey, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for asking your questions. You guys are awesome. And if we can help you in any other way, please give our office a call. We'd love to do a consultation. Also, if this video is useful, please subscribe to our channel. Please also hit the notifications bell on YouTube, because then you can be notified when we go live. You can be notified when we come out with new videos. And there's a lot of news happening, all right? There's a lot of news happening, and there's going to be announcements here in the next, especially in the next 2 months, to figure out whether or not this budget reconciliation process can start passing some new immigration laws, all right? So a lot of good stuff, Thank you all so much for being with me here today. It's the 12th of August. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thanks a lot. Best of luck. Bye-bye.